Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. And I got a couple of squeeze picks for you. So I've pretty much been in the office all weekend. And I finally got the finishing touches on the Big 3 squeeze, which I'm super excited about. So stay tuned for a few updates on that. But before I show you a couple of picks here, the major things to focus on in this video, as always, in the top right hand corner we have the Big 3 buy and sell signals. So green is a buy signal, gray is neutral, and red is a sell signal. And then down here we have the squeeze labels. So green is a squeeze and a buy signal. Blue is just a squeeze. Gray is neutral, or no squeeze, and then red would be a squeeze and a sell signal. And then the star of the show is that label over here that says Big 3 squeeze A+ setup. So to me, an A+ setup is a squeeze with an active buy signal, and you're setting up at the buy zone, right near that 21 EMA. So for all the picks here tonight, they've all got the green light. Alrighty, so first up is ADI, and we actually got long ADI on Friday. Big 3 is bullish on the weekly all the way down to the 30-minute. And we've got bull squeezes on the weekly, the 3-day, the 2-day, the daily, and the 4-hour. So let's check the green light. 4-hour squeeze, we got the green light, which again means you have an active squeeze, an active buy signal, and it's all setting up within that buy zone. So that's the green light to take the trade. So you got a green light on the 4-hour squeeze, a green light on the 2-day squeeze, the daily squeeze rather, a green light on the 2-day, a green light on the 3-day, and then a green light there on the weekly squeeze as well. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 time frames, all printing a squeeze with a buy signal, all setting up right near that 21 EMA. And then you'll see the label right here that says bull target. That is the target to the upside. So for ADI here, we're looking for a push towards 205 and change. And we got long that bad boy on Friday. Next up is crowd, CRWD. And let's take a look here. So Big 3, bullish on the weekly, the daily, the 4-hour, 2-hour, and the 1-hour. We have a squeeze and a buy signal on the weekly, the 3-day, the 2-day, the daily, the 4-hour, and the 1-hour. So now we'll check them for the A+. A+ on the 1-hour. Squeeze buy signal at the buy zone. A+ on the 4-hour. A+, of course, on the daily. A+ on the 2-day, the 3-day, and then the weekly. So for crowd here, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different time frames, cranking out the squeeze, the buy signal at the buy zone. All kinds of good stuff there. So when the squeeze fires, that's when you want to look at that target label. So right now the target is 164. Depending on when you buy it, once the squeeze fires, the target will be a little bit higher. So you kind of put it into a ballpark. All right, 164 to 165 should be good enough for government work. So crowd looks pretty good here. And next up is Lucid. And Lucid's not too shabby as far as a speculative kind of idea. Big 3 is bullish on the daily down to the 15-minute. Now you'll notice here, ADI and crowd, their squeezes are all bullish. They've all got a squeeze and a buy signal, where Lucid, you do have a squeeze and a buy signal on the 4-hour and the daily. But then the 5-minute squeeze is neutral, the weekly squeeze is neutral, and the 3-day squeeze. Which is not to say that Lucid is not a good setup. But if the focal point here is finding a squeeze with a buy signal, then obviously something like a crowd which has 6 of them, and then something like an ADI, which has 5 of them, that is going to grade out a little bit better than a name like Lucid, where for now this one only has 2 squeezes with a buy signal. But not too shabby nonetheless. So let's see. We got the green light on the 4-hour squeeze, and on the daily squeeze. So keeping an eye here on Lucid. If anything, guys, maybe some cheap out-the-money calls. The 8 strikes. The $8 strikes are kind of tickling my fancy here. Next up is AFRM, which we did trade last week. We did take profits on Thursday. Now you're kind of back here at the buy zone. 5-minute, 15-minute, 2-hour, 4-hour neutral squeeze. Daily, 2-day, 3-day bull squeeze. So AFRM is not too shabby. Again, playing the game of comparison. ADI. Has buy signals on the weekly down to the 30-minute. Crowd has buy signals on the weekly down to the 1 hour. And then for AFRM here, it's a little bit neutral. So here's a good example of, you've got the daily squeeze, you got the 2-day squeeze, the 3-day squeeze. Those can set the stage for a big push higher. But to actually trigger that move, you would like a few more buy signals here from the ground up. So if you could find the green light on the daily squeeze, the buy signal at the buy zone, and then on the big 3 indicator, the 5-minute, the 15-minute, the 30-minute, the hourly, if they can all crank out the buy signal, that's basically as good as it gets. You have the stage set for a nice push from that daily squeeze, and then you actually get the trigger for the push. The fuse gets lit from all your lower time frame buy signals. So I think, you keep an eye here on AFRM. For those of y'all that have the big 3 signals, wait for a trigger. 15-minute, 30-minute hourly buy signal. Then you might jump into the squeezes here. So AFRM is not too bad. Next up is LYB. And for LYB here, the 2-day squeeze, the 3-day squeeze, and the weekly squeeze have not fired just yet. The daily squeeze has fired. But the weekly chart here all looks like she's gearing up for a push through $100. So if we can catch LYB on a little bit of a dipper, kick back to an hourly 21, a pullback to a daily 21, so long as the structure and the signals are still bullish, then you take that pullback as a chance to jump into that weekly squeeze. Then you're looking for a push to $100. So we'll try to buy some LYB on the pullback, and then same thinking for Boeing. Same thinking here for Boeing. The daily squeeze, the 2-day squeeze, the 3-day squeezes, they all just fired last week after earnings. The weekly squeeze here looks like a beast. So this should be good for a push to, at least 250. I think through 250, you're talking 280-ish. Back up here at those previous swing highs from March of 2021. But yeah, same thinking as LYB. Try to catch it on a flush. As long as the signals are still bullish, as long as the weekly squeeze still sets up nicely, then you jump in, then you look for your push towards 250 to 280. So LYB and Boeing on the old dip. And a couple more here, guys. We got Tech and BIDU. So Tech here is really solid. And that's what I'm looking for. AFRM is pretty neutral. Tech here's got all the good stuff. Buy signals on the daily chart down to the 15-minute. So you've got the squeeze. You got the buy signal. It is an A+ setup because you got the squeeze the buy signal at the buy zone. That sets the stage for an explosive move. The trigger, the fuse for that push, the party starter, which is actually what they used to call me back in high school. The party starter is all these little guys right here. 15-minute chart says it's time to go. The 30-minute, the 1 hour, they trigger the push. Then they trigger the squeeze. So tech looks mighty good here. And then my last pick for you guys here tonight is BIDU. BIDU. Big 3 looks very good. So Big 3 prints a buy signal on every time frame except the 5-minute chart. So as far as path of least resistance, that is pretty much locked and loaded. And then you got the daily squeeze and the 2-day squeeze. Now you'll notice here, guys, the label, the A+ setup label is gray. Now why is that? We have a squeeze. We have a buy signal. Whoops. We have a buy signal, but we're not quite setting up at the buy zone. We're a little bit too far above that 21 EMA, in my opinion, to warrant an ideal entry. So if this can pull back a little bit before the squeeze fires, a little bit of a pullback into the buy zone, then we'll get the label over here, and then we can get to work. So I think BIDU, LYB, and Boeing on a dip should offer a good spot to jump in and then try to catch the continuation higher out of the squeezes, where names like Crowd, names like Tech, and names like ADI, they got the fixins. The squeezes, the buy signals, and they're all setting up at the buy zone. So therefore, in my book, my friends, that is all the makings of an A+ setup. So there y'all have it. Crowd, ADI, Lucid, AFRM, LYB, Tech, and BIDU. And then we will see whatever else comes our way this week. But there you have it, guys. It's been a long weekend here in the office. Sprucing up the Big 3 squeeze. So like I mentioned, stay tuned for updates on that. But until next time, y'all, have a good weekend. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I will talk to you soon. Adios.